in the final episode of Hawkeye for the All-Ireland Championship. I'm your host Cian Hughes, and today on the panel we have Ross Doherty, Kevin Byrne and Liam Glennon. We have only one game to look on this week, and it's a big one, the All-Ireland final, Dublin against Mayo. Dublin look for their 6th All-Ireland in a row, which is just remarkable. How do you see this one going?
It's just like Dublin, again, all through the year, a very good team. Mayo are a good team, attacking team, but I think Dublin will see this out, they're so good. The closest team they got to them was Westmeath, 11 points, and it's just an unbelievable team like Dean Rock and all of the forwards, Kenny, like Conor Callaghan, unbelievable forward line. But same with Mayo, like Killian O'Connor and all these, like if he's in form, it'll be a very close game, I think, but Dublin will probably get the edge. But I think Dublin are going to see that Killian O'Connor are coming. He's coming at them hard, he's going to score a lot, so might have even 1 or 2 markers on him, or the best backs on him. But I think the Dublin will just scrape it again, they're such a good team. Going for 6 in a row, no other team has ever done this. So I think I'll give it to Mayo, Dublin, but Mayo could have a shock victory, but everyone's saying it's looking like Dublin, so...
Yeah, Dublin seem to be heading towards their 6th Sam Maguire this year now, and Mayo played them 4 times in finals. I think it was 2013, twice in 2016, 2017, and they had a few good clashes, and all we can do is hope Mayo play to their best, and hope we get a good game to watch. Although the Mayo defence could be on defence now, we don't know. And another thing with Dublin is they really are an 80-minute team. They come off the pitch with the same quality players that went on the pitch, and so we've seen Mayo against Tipperary, in the last kind of 15 minutes, they really just stopped, took off the pedal. I don't know if it was tiredness or they thought they had the game won, but they cannot do that against Dublin because they will be clinical on that.
I agree with the boys in this. Like the two of them were saying about the Mayo defence, like if against a very average team like Tipperary to concede that much is disgraceful. To try and to call themselves a team that can compete with Dublin, arguably themselves and Kerry. I just think if that defence is the same as it was against Tipperary now, it would just be like an absolute slaughter, because obviously Tipperary do have good quality forward. You see people like Sweeney, but you just look at the Dublin forwards. You look at Dean Rock, Kieran Kilkenny, them sort of lads that really compete for Player of the Year sort of players. And I just think Mayo to beat Dublin will have to just completely outscore them and just have the battle in the forward line rather than have to defend.
Do you think if they sharpen up their defence now in the coming week, they can actually put it up to them?
I think it's hard to sharpen up your defence that quickly, after, obviously they'll be on a high after winning the semi-final, but I just don't think you can sharpen up your defence that quickly from conceding that much,
Yeah, Mayo will have to try play the majority of the game in the Dublin half, keep the ball up there, pressure them, try not let Dublin get the ball up the pitch, because that's when they'll do damage, and keep it in the Mayo or the Dublin 22, and they will get scores, because they do have some brilliant
They seem to be that sort of team that, like Dublin, they're slow to start.
Yeah.
Unless they're trying to figure out what that team is like. But you look at them and they're, even against small teams like Laois, they'd be kind of slow to start off. They'd be holding it to them, and then it's the second half where Dublin have the fitness and the class just to completely steamroll them.
Yeah, we talk about, Mayo's defence, they have playing Aidan O'Shea up in the full forward and dropping the midfield sometimes. I think they might even play him in the backs against Dublin, so he is very, seen what he did, Kerry, when he was in the backs, but he didn't pull it through, but he was solid there, and they could do something like that, or they could find another way to sharpen up the defence, but I think it will be, as the boy said, an attacking game by Mayo. They'll have to win in the attacking side, there's no way they're going to win in the defensive side. I think Mayo are like a forward team, their defence isn't great, and Dublin's just all around, every single player. Our defence and their attack is just unbelievable, and we can't say that too much about Mayo now.
Would you put O'Shea on Dean Rock or one of the big Dublin forwards?
I think Dean Rock would be the one to put him on, because I think he's like Conor Callaghan or Kieran Kenny might be a bit tricky for him, might go around too easy. I think Dean Rock would be the one to put him up against. You could put him on someone like Conor Callaghan or someone like that, but I think they're just too tricky. You need someone like Dean Rock who's just in there to catch it, turn, freeze, I think someone like him would be able to mark well. I don't think he'd be able to mark the other boys, but he might do a job of him, they do mark.
first years, no, they're not first years.
No idea that.
No, what are you doing something, are you?
Yeah, it's the TY Future Leader project. Deirdre.
Yeah, obviously, Aidan O'Shea is a very versatile player. He can really play anywhere, you know, wherever Mayo really need him. And it'll be interesting to see where they decide to play him, because he will play a big role in defining.
I just think it'd be a waste of such a. I personally think, like, obviously they're going to have to defend a lot, and they're going to be really put under pressure by Dublin's forwards. But I think having Aidan O'Shea, especially in the full back line, obviously you can press up, but I just think it'd be a waste of a player. If you want to bring the game to Dublin, I'd put him up higher up the pitch where he can cause more of a threat.
Yeah, but you have Kieran or Matthew Moran in midfield, you know, and he's the new one that came in. He's come on great this year, and that's where Aidan could play, but playing him out there, and then you're Killian O'Connor in the forward line plays where Aidan would play. So I think it might be a waste of talent, but like Mayo is coming up with all these young fellas now. They've been a whole new team from the last few years they played against Dublin. You know, it was like I think it was 5 or 6 changes last time they played Dublin in All-Ireland final. You know, and especially midfield and the forwards, there's great new players coming on. So I think Aidan, he should play at full back, you know, because you have so many other players like Killian O'Connor up top, Matthew Moran in midfield.
Do you know the young players from Mayo? Do you think that will work against them because they're so inexperienced, or do you think they can actually put up to the Dublin defence?
I think they put up to the Dublin defence, you know, because Dublin are used to the forwards, you know, Andy Moore in the last few years, they're used to him, you know, they're used to Aidan O'Shea, they're used to all the O'Sheas really, you know. But I think if they're a fresh new start, they might have a lack of experience, but I don't think that would matter much. You know, as soon as Dublin, they'd find it in minutes, at the start of the league side, they'd find a few minutes to settle in. And if Mayo can realise that and pounce at the start, maybe get a goal and just pop over a few points, it could be a big lead and might be able to get back and they could play drop back, you know. So I think it'll help them out a bit, yeah.
Yeah, obviously the younger, more inexperienced players have probably never played against a team as good as Dublin and as high standard as Dublin, so it will be different for them, and it'll be interesting to see if they step up to that new level. And another thing that will influence the game, I think, would be discipline, because obviously Kieran O'Connor, he can score frees, and if Dublin keep their discipline and don't foul around the D and don't give away silly frees, I don't see Mayo getting too many scoring opportunities against their defence.
No, I personally think that the young players in the Mayo team will work against Mayo. I think you looked at the Leinster final, you've seen a very young lead side, and you see what happened in that final. Now, obviously, it might be great for Puma to say that, you know, they don't have the quality to match Dublin, but I think you look at them like last generation of Mayo teams where you see a lot more of the more experienced players playing against them that have since retired. But I just think that it'll be better off having an experienced Mayo team come up against this Dublin side rather than an experienced one.
Do you think the lack of fans in the stadium is going to affect Dublin negatively because they're so used to having the 82,000 people at Croke Park and Hill 16 behind them?
No, I don't think so. No, it's not. You look at all the games this season, Dublin are like a machine. You know, if it was a close final, I think the fans would have a massive impact on the game. But I just think that, you know, Dublin are just an absolute machine, and the fact that they're so far ahead of the next best team, I just think that fans or no fans, I think Dublin will win.
Yeah, you know, like Mayo, I think they'd be helped out more by fans than the Dublins, you know, because Dublin do have Hill 16, but I think Mayo just have more of a spirit when the fans are there. But I think, you know, the Dublin are a big powerhouse and they never take the fall off the pedal. But you never know, every time we're saying Dublin, 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 I think it will be a close game and Dublin might edge it, but I'd love to see Mayo win, you know. But yeah, I think I'd love to see Mayo win, they might get there.
Yeah, we can only hope Mayo perform, because we know they can, we've seen them perform, but we just have to hope, you know, they put it up to the dubs.
What are your thoughts on this infamous Mayo curse?
I think there's one lad still alive out in America or something, but I don't know, they haven't, it's their fault really for celebrating past that funeral, but I don't know, it could or it couldn't, you know, Dublin were just an unbelievable team back then as well, so it could be a curse, you never know really.
You never know, yeah, like Ross said, it's going around about this curse, but you can't really call that a factor to why Mayo aren't winning All Ireland, you know. Dublin really are a serious team, you can't just blame it on that.
like Kevin said, it's kind of just like one of those superstitions where Mayo lose a few finals and then it's just kind of sit back on that, but the fact that there's a curse or whatever. But I just think that, you know, I think it's no excuse. I obviously look, Dublin are a good team, but I think that Mayo are the kind of they're holding themselves back, like just having that in the back of their heads. I think, like you said, going back to the no fans, I think it's going to be just a clear stadium, no fans. It's going to be what about a few hundred people in the pitch or in the stadium, sorry. And I think that it'll be definitely one of Mayo's best chances at Dublin.
Alright, to finish up, we'll go to our official predictions and scorelines. How do you see it playing out?
I think it's going to be. I think it's a Dublin win. I think, like you said, if Mayo take it to the Mayorley, I think it's certainly closer than we expect. But I just can't see anybody beating this Dublin team.
Yeah, I agree. You know, I see Dublin winning. I'd say 5 points maybe. I see Dublin winning by.
Yeah, I think Dublin, Mayo will lack in the defence, you know, and Dublin's great, but I give a score prediction, I think, of 3-9 to 112.
They're both very attacking-minded teams, and I think Dublin obviously with a much stronger defence. But you look at the big heavyweights, you know, in both forward lines, Kieran Kilkenny, and then you look at like Dean Rock, Dublin line. It's just savage scorers, and then Cillian O'Connor, of course. Obviously, I think he's the only one that can really, you know, they're going to need leaders on that pitch, especially earlier on in the game. I think Cillian O'Connor is that man to do it.
Alright, that's all from us. Thank you for watching and we wish you all a safe and happy Christmas.